to Burn News and Views. I'm your host, Don Burgess. And with us tonight, we have more of our outstanding sports community with us. Tonight, we have Coach Naquita Robinson of the women's national football team. Welcome, Nikita.
Thank you. Good night.
We have Victoria Davis, also of the national team.
Hi.
And finally, not surprisingly, also from the national team, Leilanni Nesbeth. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
We're going to start. We want to introduce you to the audience. So we're going to start with Coach. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do when you're not coaching the national team, and we'll go from there.
Sure. Good evening, everyone. My name is Coach Naquita Robinson. As you see, I'm a full-time mom and a full-time PE teacher at MSA. I don't really do much else besides coach. I'm actually on break now, but I'm finding things to do now that I don't have any coaching to do. But yeah, just a regular old wife, mother, and teacher.
Yeah, and we'll have interruptions like that from time to time, but that's okay with being a parent. All right, Victoria.
Hi. Yes, I just graduated in April from college. I am now working as an interior designer for By Design. I pretty much work and play football. Pretty much what I do as well.
Okay, and where did you graduate from?
I graduated from Algonquin College in Ottawa.
Okay, great. And last but not least, Leilanni.
Hello, so I'm Leilanni Nesbeth. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently in my third year here at FSU. I'm studying sports management. I'm doing my master's in sports management, and then I'm picking up a minor in general business. I'm set to graduate in I think December of 2023, and all I do is school and soccer. So that's pretty much my life.
So, what do you want to do after you finish your degree?
The plan is definitely to go pro. I want to see where football takes me. I would love to maybe at some point go back to school and get my teaching degree and maybe do some coaching and some teaching. I love working with young children, so I think that's definitely something I want to tap into the future. But definitely, the priority is definitely seeing how far I can take this football thing. So.
Okay, it's awesome. Well, it was fun watching you at the National Stadium last week, banging home all those goals.
Thank you.
Coach, why don't you tell us a little bit about this qualifying experience and what it meant to you and what you feel like it meant for the team in general?
Oh yeah, we had a back in 2015 we had a measuring stick, so we had a plan, and the process was to see how far we will get in 2022. Unfortunately, some players did fall off from the team that we had hoped would be here in 2022. So we kind of should have moved the measuring stick up a couple years. It was 7 years was our plan. I think 2018 we probably could have moved it again to see maybe we would be in 2025. But I couldn't be proud of these young ladies. They've been grinding for years. From I don't know, Victoria played U15. Did you play 15s or you played 15 or 17s is where you started? I know Leilanni played 15s and came in.
Might have been 15s. I think it would have been like my only one.
Okay, so it's been a while. These are senior players now, so they understand the process. They understood what it was we were trying to achieve and accomplish. It's not the story that we wanted to write, but it's getting closer to the story that we're trying to write. So, again, it's making sure that we let the younger players, the players that's coming behind, see where they can be and where they can go. And there's no doubt in my mind that Leilanni will go pro, as well as a few other players that's in that team, because she has that ambition and they have that ambition. I think this campaign actually showed us what we can do and that we can hang with the big dogs. It's just a little bit more work that we have to do. There's some things that we haven't quite gotten right yet that we will get right in these next campaigns coming up. So we're heading in the right direction. Again, I couldn't be prouder of this group. This is a fantastic group of women who represented Bermuda and represented Bermuda really, really well. unlucky in the Dominican game. A lady asked me today, "Do you think if we'd have played at home, it would have been a different result?" Well, sure, definitely. But it was there for the taking. And unfortunately, we didn't get it. But at the end of the day, we still left there with our heads held high, and we're just looking forward to what's next for us.
How would you describe how women's football has moved from 10 years ago to now?
The development side. There are a lot more young girls playing the game. There are a lot more young girls that want to play. It was great to have the under 15s as ball girls because they're next. They're in tournament this year as well, and they can see where they're going to go. But I have to give kudos to the Bermuda Football Association and the Women's Committee in particular, who have been pushing very, very hard to get women's football back up and running. And we have a women's league starting next month. That will bring some of those players back out, and maybe I get to look and see some players and invite them, to the next training camp. But I think that from 10 years ago, we now have a clear plan. There's a strategic plan in place, and we can actually I can see us working towards achieving the objectives for that strategic plan. Before it was just touch and go. It's like, let's find girls that's playing. Now I can go and look at young ladies playing football and actually take notes and say, hey, maybe you should come and be a part of the National Academy. So that's exciting for me as a coach, because before I had to work at developing the players. Now there are clubs and coaches out there developing young players. That's going to make it a lot easier for us national team coaches.
So, Victoria and Leilanni, can you tell us how old you were when you first started playing football and what got you hooked on the sport? We'll start with Leilanni.
Yeah, so I think I'm from St. David's. I know Coach Kita hates me talking about the Warriors, but yeah, I'm from St. David's. So I started playing football when I think I was like 5 years old, and my stepdad was playing for the team at the time, and he sort of just brought me to a training session, and then I kind of just got hooked on from there. I was also playing cricket as well, so I was doing kind of the both. But I definitely knew I had a niche for uh, for soccer. I think it was more so like the social aspect. I was obviously being able to stay fit, and it was just a lot of fun. I was meeting all my friends playing soccer, and I was playing with the boys at the time. So it was just cool to be able to progress. And it wasn't till like till later till you realize, hey, maybe I can take this to the next level. But I think like the reason I started playing was just because of the social aspect of it, the ability to build these relationships with different people. So that's what really got me hooked.
Victoria?
I would say I was probably a bit older. I was probably like 7. I was also doing multiple sports at the time. I was really big into triathlons and cycling and stuff like that. And I think, like Leilani said, it was the social aspect. It was, seeing your friends, going to practice, and all that stuff. And I wouldn't say probably when I left for boarding school at 14 is probably when I definitely took it more seriously, wanted to see, what it could do for my future, what I could do with it, and kind of just build on that, I would say. And then probably when I hit university is when I truly, truly was like, I really, really enjoy playing. I'm really passionate about it, and just kind of went from there.
No, it was interesting, Leilani, because you mentioned playing for the Warriors and playing with the boys. I watched the under 11 tournament at Barkley on Saturday, and I saw that they had a female playing goalkeeper and playing in the field for them. How would you say, what are the benefits of playing with the boys as maybe opposed to what are the benefits of just playing in an all-girls league?
Yeah, I definitely think it's probably one of the biggest contributions to like my game is playing with boys, and I was able to, fortunately enough, to be able to play with the boys team at my school when I was in high school over in England. But definitely like growing up and being able to just get that physical aspect of it, playing like being the only girl playing on a boys team, you have to earn your respect, and that comes with being confident in your abilities and different things like that. And once I found that once boys, they see that you're good enough and they see that that you're able to compete with them, they respect you. And then so it's nice being able to watch like all the girls. I have some like young girls who hit me up, and they're like, oh well, I want to play on the boys team, but it's intimidating and different things like that. And I think it's, if you're able to do it, and I'm hoping, I think more girls put themselves like in that position to be able to play with boys, because it definitely contributes to your game in the future, because it is hard. And playing at the women's level, like you see these games aren't under, like youth level games. You're playing against grown women, so all those physical aspects that you learn when you're playing against boys at a young level also translates when you're older. So,
Don, if I could speak to that, I started playing, with boys. When I was younger, they didn't have girls league, any girls football happening, and it's definitely beneficial. I do wish that more of the girls will play in the boys league, if not for anything else but the physicality. And you do have to work harder because they tend to not want to pass you the ball unless you have proven yourself. I'm sure Leilanni didn't have many issues if Dan wanted to give her the ball, because she proved herself from such a young age. But I do notice that a lot of the girls that are playing, if they play with boys, in my generation, we all played with boys. You're talking about like Siobhan Furbett, Nicole Jones, Taryn and Painter, those types of players. We had to play with boys, and it just made our game that much better. And it's just a different mindset when you're playing with boys, that you develop a different sense of how fast you have to be, how physical you have to be, and really how smart you have to be, because you kind of trick them sometimes to making sure they give you the ball. So, I think that playing, at the younger ages with boys is fantastic, especially because they have a lot of games. And if nothing else, they have a lot of games. And so you guaranteed matches. I know a lot of times some coaches don't play the girls as much, but any bit of playing with the boys is always going to be a benefit, and it's going to benefit us, because we don't have to work as hard on that physicality because they're ready to go.
Right. We have a little video we're going to show, and then we're going to ask you a question after we show it. So that was the end of the match last Tuesday. The crowd standing up and cheering. What sort of emotions were all three of you going through after the whistle had blown and you walked away with the 6-0 victory, and then have that home crowd just stand and acknowledge you for what you've accomplished? We'll start with Coach.
Yeah, I mean, for me, my emotion is really geared more towards the players, but hearing that noise, I mean, actually, from the time these guys walked out to warm up, it's such a magical feeling. We don't usually, this is our first ever women's tournament. We had the under-20s here, but at the senior level, to have that many people in the stands and to hear that noise from the whistle, to the final, from the starting whistle to the final whistle, every pass, every shot, every goal, and then finally at the end of the match, for these girls to be able to applaud their fans. Again, I can't stress how much how much time I have for these girls, because we play away. We're always playing away, and even when we win, we may have 2, 3, or 4 people in the stands, but to have a win, and have that support from the home crowd is absolutely amazing. And I really can't wait until we start our Nations League campaign, because we'll have that more than just once, once a year. So for me as a coach, I was more happy for the players, because I said it from the beginning, they deserve it. This group of players deserve that reception and that support.
Victoria?
Like Coach said, it's been a really amazing overall experience to have the home crowd and have, families and parents and friends come and support you. Overall, it's an amazing experience. It's a surreal experience. Last time I played a home game was our 2017 U20 tournament, like Coach said. So it was nice to have that home crowd experience again. And we've played so many tours away that it's finally nice to have that limelight on us.
Being able to have your friends and family there to watch and support you is probably a big boost.
And Don, we had more fans in the stands than all 3 of the other games put together.
Wow.
Even Jamaica didn't have that kind of crowd. Dominican didn't have that kind of crowd. To have 800 people in the stands was absolutely amazing.
I didn't realize that. That's really superb.
Mm-hmm.
That, the Bermuda turned out to support you guys in that sort of number. Leilani?
Yeah, definitely. I've never seen that video, and I like the first thing I saw was like my grandma with her arms up, in my 13 jersey. And I haven't played a home game. This is my first senior trip, and I've never played with. I wasn't there with the U20s back when Vicky played, but it was definitely amazing. I haven't played in front of my grandparents or my family in a very long time all day, so it was nice for them to be able to watch me play and not it being on a screen. So that was absolutely amazing. I don't think I can put into words how much like it meant to be able to play and perform in front of my grandma and in front of my family and friends. So that was amazing. Also, just like you said, like to have 800 people in the stands, it just shows the amount of bodies behind like women's football in Bermuda. And I think, after that performance, like people said, like I think that number is going to continue to grow because we can play and we have shown that we can play against really good teams and be able to put up a good fight. So I'm excited to see, like Coach said, like Nations League and these other different campaigns that are coming up. It's going to be exciting to be able to play more home games and have that energy because it's definitely having like an extra player on the field. So.
Yeah. So I know what the Nations League is for the gentlemen. So I'm assuming it's the same sort of thing for the ladies. So, Coach, when does that start, and who are you guys pitted against?
Our first actual, our next, I should say, official competition is going to be Island Games, which will take place in Guernsey, July 8th to the 15th of 2023. And then the Nations League starts in the fall, and it's the exact same format. I love what CONCACAF have decided to do for women's football. I cannot thank them enough because games is what we've been asking for. If you look at these girls and how they're playing, and that's without matches. Imagine if we get game, iron sharpens iron. The more we play, the better we'll get. The better I'll get as a coach because I will have different situations and I'll learn how to coach against those different situations. And these players will learn how to play in those different situations. We talk about the Jamaica game a lot, and we're like, if we had a match before the Jamaica game, it may have been different. So the Nations League is something that's so exciting. I mean, we got to wait over a year for it. But I'm excited about the break I'm giving the players because once we start up again, we're gonna hit the ground running and we're gonna go hard. So we know that we have to have a good showing. The men did fantastic in their First Nations League attempt, and so we want to do as good as they did, if not better. So we're looking forward to that. If not for nothing else, having the extra matches.
Right. So I am assuming that since it's so far out, they haven't done the draw for it yet.
No. But I'm guessing that they will use these matches because we're ranked, right? I'm hoping that we get some international friendlies so that our rankings can improve so that, we can be in not such a hard draw. But these girls, we take whoever comes our way, whoever's in line to play, that's who we have to go out and play. And it's amazing because, as much as they wanted to play the Cayman game at home, if you watch that match, it was definitely a home match, and that's what I love about them. They just go out there and they play football. They go to play. It could be one person in the stand. It could be 1,000 people in the stands. They go out and they play exactly the same way. And I have so much respect for them for that. So as I said, whoever comes our way, and we just have to deal with whoever comes our way. So we don't get too caught up in the draw too much.
Having the CONCACAF Nations League coming up next year, how important is that for you, Leilanni and Victoria, and for your team members to stay active and be wanting to be a part of the national team? We'll start with Leilanni.
Yeah, definitely. It's having international trips are always, it's an exciting time of the year. I'm always looking forward to them. I think all my teammates are looking forward to them. I'm always going to be active. I feel like since I'm playing college, that's kind of like the standard is going to, make sure that I'm doing whatever I can to be able to contribute to the team. And I'm going to be a better player, next year and like in July in preparation for the Nations League. So I'm looking forward to that and, tighten up on different areas of my game that are going to be able to impact the team in a positive manner. So, it's definitely motivating, obviously having my college season coming up, but also, having in mind that, I need to be in a good position when tournaments come up in the next year. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really important to always have us, there's a lot of girls coming up, even with the younger girls, and even, there's a lot of talent in Bermuda. So always trying to making sure that you're staying active and making sure, you're playing. I would say the Women's League is a great opportunity for a lot of, girls to be showcased and to be able to stay active in Bermuda, especially since there hasn't been a lot of women's football on the island. So it's nice for me, who is now permanently on the island, to have that and to also be playing football all the time.
Now, Victoria just mentioned, Coach, some of the younger women that or / girls who are coming up. Who might be some of those people that might be challenging some of the senior players next year?
Oh, we actually selected 4 of them under 17 players to go in this last campaign. So, between the Janai and Jadeda twins, we have. Okay, go charge it, sweetheart. Young Catherine Bean, who is now out due to injury. She's unable to represent at the U17s, but we're certain that she'll be back. There's Caitlin Medeiros, there's Chechele Derlin, there's so many young players that's coming through right now. We got another center back, Keziah, who's she's once she realizes her potential, that she's gonna also be another amazing player. So, even though I've given these players off, I hope they know that I'm off. They're not off. I'm just off. I'm doing my homework so that when we get started, we hit the ground running. But I'm hoping that they still do their run, still go to the gym, still do the things that they need to do, so that when we get back in September is the date that I'm looking to set for us to start preparing for next year. That they are in a position to challenge for every spot. This campaign's done. There's no guaranteed spots. Everyone has to make the team again. So. At the end of the day, that is my hope, is that the players decide that, what, we see what's in front of us, let's go and get it. I know Leilanni is going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I know Victoria is going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I want to know that everyone's going to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have to say this, I'll do it publicly, that Victoria's in this interview. I remember an interview with her, and I remember asking her, what's her goal? And she said, to be in the starting 11. And in the back of my head, I said, starting 11. I'm not even sure. Yeah, my 23. But she made a believer of me. And the player does that. I have no problem selecting her. And she played every minute of this entire campaign. Yeah. So, to the players out there that, right now you may not be in the plans, but it doesn't mean that you can't be. Put the work in. It's all about putting in the work. And showing that you deserve a spot. I mean, that was her goal. I couldn't tell her what goal to have. I just remember thinking to myself, oh, okay, we'll see. And whatever she had to do, she done to achieve that goal. And I didn't have a choice. I really didn't have a choice. But to select her and to play her this campaign, she was definitely one of the standout performers in this last campaign. But that's due to work. I think Leilanni eats, sleeps, and drinks this stuff. It's just it's a way of life. And the other player we had that just like that is Jaden Masters. Unfortunately, she's got this injury again. That's heartbreaking. But at the end of the day, I need players that's willing to do the type of work that these girls do.
Right. So, Victoria, for you, what was the standout highlight moment throughout this qualifying?
I mean, it would have to be the goal. But I mean, the whole experience in general, to be able to be, in that starting 11, to be able to represent my country, the whole qualifiers in itself was just a lot and means a lot to me.
Okay. And Leilanni, what was your highlight moment?
Definitely the hat trick. I was able to get some goals. Obviously back home, like in front of the home crowd, in front of my grandma and all my other family members. So that was definitely a highlight, and hopefully one of many more to come. So.
So here's our one controversial question for tonight, or maybe slightly controversial. What should be done to help develop women's football in Bermuda that's not being done? What should be done? And coach, well, since you earn the big bucks or not, we'll start with you.
I think that we're doing the things that we need to do to help to develop the sport. I'll tell you what, what really can help is sponsorship. I have a lot of great ideas of things that I want to do to help, these players to be in shape and stay in shape. But, things cost money. And, the BFA get their allocated funds. You have to really perform to get higher up on the chain to get more money, right? And these girls are really working hard to do that. But I think from a financial standpoint, I think getting the sponsorship to allow these girls to do more things in their preparation, right? But outside of that, I think the BFA strategic plan is everything's a process, right? Everything is a process. So we have to kind of chomp at the bit as we're doing, to try to make sure that we continue to work at developing this sport.
Okay. And Victoria, what would you like to see happen with women's football in Bermuda to help develop it?
I think just exposure in general to have like these leagues that are coming to, make it as big as the men's is, I guess. So the exposure, the sponsorships, the playing, having the league, you know, having more teams, like girls teams, because I mean, even now, I don't really think there's a U17s or U15 girls teams at the moment that are playing in these leagues. I mean, I know that there's a couple of us right now, like we played for the U17 Somerset boys team as well right now, but I think just like the exposure and getting it out there, having, the willingness of people to want for girls to develop in Bermuda alone.
Okay. And Leilanni?
Like Coach Kita mentioned, everything costs money. Like we said, like matches are important. Unfortunately, we don't see each other. Like I don't think all of our players are on island, and a large portion of us are overseas in our respected colleges and high schools and different things like that. So the period for us to come together and be able to put something together in preparation for a game is quite slim. And I think like development is only going to happen if we get exposure, like Vicky said, and we get games, and those games don't necessarily need to be crazy games against USA or big games. It's just getting games. And whether that's us coming together to be able to play local teams or play international friendlies, whatever it is, being able to come together and be able to work with Coach Kita and the other staff members, all of that is important. But that also comes with being able to have money and being able to put these things together. So I think that's probably something I would say.
Our time's up for tonight, but I'm going to give everyone a chance to have a last word to whatever it is that you want to say, whether it be a shout out to somebody or just talk about women's football. And while we're doing that, we have a couple of nice comments that people have posted. We'll put those up and show them. But we're going to start with Leilanni, and then we'll go Vicky and finish up with Coach. So Leilanni.
I don't know if my mom watches this. I didn't send her the link, but hi, Mom. Aunt Tara, hello. She always gets mad when I don't give her a shout out. But yeah, and everybody else, hi.
I just want to give a shout out to like my family and friends and everybody else as well.
Okay, Coach.
I mean, just to everyone, that has even just supported me from my family. I got as you can hear, a 4-year-old toddler, who has to see his mom jump on the plane. My 14-year-old, majority of his life, this is what I've done. But I have such an amazing support system. My husband jumps in, best friend jumps in, nephew jumps in, aunt is jumping in. I have an aunt who takes the toddler every Friday when I'm on tour. I have people that constantly, my parents, my brother, his wife, just everybody that takes the time out to understand what it is that I am trying to achieve here with this group of players and with these young ladies and for Bermuda as a whole. To David Sabir, Mark Wade, Maurice Lowe, my two sidekicks who have been my sidekicks since the beginning. Aaron Dankins and Vance Braun. We kind of rotate and we interchange, and we support each other as much as we can. And to the entire staff, I love the fact that we have video footage now for these players. Andrew McDowell, who is like our IT guy, who definitely is such a huge part of our development now that I can't imagine us not having it. And there's just so many people, and I know, guys, if I haven't called your name, I apologize. But last but not least, to my players, to my boss, to my players, thank you guys for entrusting me. Thank you for just being there, putting in the work. I look forward to hopefully many more years of us having success. And thank you to Bermuda. Please continue to support these girls. We're not perfect, but the more positivity that you put out there, the better we will be, and we will continue to make you proud.
I really appreciate having all three of you on tonight, and because the women's team did fantastic, first time out doing a tournament like this, and of course you couldn't ask for a much better result than what happened last Tuesday. Lots of moments for the crowd to clap and enjoy and support you. So we want to thank players Victoria Davis and Leilanni Nesbeth and Coach Naquita Robinson for being here tonight. So thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And on behalf of Burr News, I've been your host, Don Burgess. And as always, have a beautiful evening.